Good evening and greetings, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Aisha Speaks Jade Facebook page, where, of course, I am none other than Aisha and affectionately known as Jade. I am back once again to do another Makeup Live audio for Saturday, January the 12th, 2019. And as always, I hope everyone is enjoying their evening thus far, or wherever you are located at, you're enjoying yourself. And I hope that you enjoy the topic of conversation or the topic at hand that I have this evening, which is, and before I start, just know that if you are not able to join me live right now, the replay will be available shortly after. Just want to make sure I put that in. Also, make sure that you like my Aisha Speaks Jade. I'm saying it in the beginning as well as I'm going to say it at the end of this. So like and join my Aisha Speaks Jade Facebook page. At the end of this, I will give out my other social media. The topic of discussion is how you can train yourself to stop complaining in under a month. Do you guys think it's possible? Do you think, girl, you just crazy, I can't do this? Again, how you can train yourself to stop complaining in under a month. So, compulsive complaining doesn't just get something off your chest. It actually damages your brain and overall health. So we're going to talk about 6 steps to try. These 6 steps to stop complaining in under 4 weeks. I challenge everyone that listens to this to actually try this, including myself. See, I'm taking ownership, including myself. And if you do it, let me know. Leave comments and feedback on if it worked for you or not. So everyone needs to vent occasionally, as we do. Sometimes we just need that listening ear. Maybe it's because your morning commute was a nightmare. You're trying to get to work, school, or get to your business, if you have a business outside your home, or if you're attending one of those unproductive meetings that you don't like to go to at work. Or you can have a team member miss a deadline. Things happen. There will always be something to complain about. However, compulsively complaining doesn't just get something off your chest. It actually damages your brain and overall health, as I just said a few minutes ago. In fact, some have even gone so far as to say that complaining can kill you. The good news is that you can train your brain to stop complaining. This goal is possible to accomplish in less than a month. Sounds too good to be true? Sounds like it, right? Or maybe it might work. So here's how you can make it happen, which is define what a complaint really is. Before you start complaining, take a step back to really think about what's bothering you. Is there a valid reason for the complaint? Are you complaining merely for the sake of complaining? So, for example, if you claim that you can't stand living in your current city, that sounds like me. If you can't stand living in your current city, well, I like it, but I do want to go. So I do complain. I used to really complain about, really every day complain about living where I'm living right now in my city for a while. I've cut down on it, but yes, I have to admit, I do complain. But listen, this is an example. Again, if you're complaining about living in your current city because it's too cold, that's an observation. What's more, that complaint serves no purpose than to fuss over the weather. If you were to say that the weather was affecting your health or work, you would have a legitimate reason for your gripe. You get that? Hopefully you got that quick example. Next is monitor and track your complaints. After defining what a complaint really is, determine how often you complain. Also, keep tabs on the things that trigger these objections. You don't have to overthink this. Just jot down your complaints and you'll quickly realize that your complaints flow a lot more regularly than you realize. Besides writing down your actual complaints, note who you expressed these grievances to and how you felt after complaining. After a week or so, you should be able to identify your personal patterns. Finding how you operate in regards to grumbling will help you start thinking of ways to resolve the underlying problems. So here's a for instance. When it comes to cold weather, if it's impacting your health or work, the obvious solution would be to relocate or wear warmer clothing. If you're having difficulty with an employee who's constantly missing deadlines, you need to address the issue with him or her and find out why he or she can't meet the deadline. You may find out it's a simple fix, such as providing him or her with additional information or the right tools to get the job done more quickly. You may also find that the workload is too much to expect of anyone, and that's valuable information you can act on, not simply complain about. Let's talk about try the rubber band technique. I've never heard of this technique before, but if you have, certainly let me know how that worked for you. So this is the rubber band technique. So while becoming more self-aware of your complaining is a great start, you may have to actually change your behavior through conditioning, right? Because we all know sometimes we need that upgrade on our behavior. This is similar to the findings of Ivan Pavlov, who is a Russian psychologist who famously discovered that he could trigger a salivary response in his dogs with any activity. So instead of ringing a bell to stop complaining, you could try using a rubber band to change the behavior. You guys should check that out, what a rubber band technique is. You know, YouTube and Google is very resourceful. So try using a rubber band to change the behavior. So what that is simply place a rubber band around your wrist. Whenever you complain, pull the rubber band back to let it snap onto your wrist. Again, you can look it up for yourself if you don't believe me, just giving you a real simple version of it. Again, it's simply placing a rubber band around your wrist. And whenever you find yourself complaining, you pull that rubber band back to let it snap onto your wrist. Eventually, this will serve as a physical and mental reminder that when you complain, there's consequences. Sounds a little painful. Probably if you complain too much, if you might leave a mark. So, try it. It might really be effective. The next would be remove yourself from negative situations and toxic people. I talk about this quite often too, as I'm one of those learn from experience type of people. Removing yourself from negative situations and toxic people. One of the easiest and most effective ways to stop complaining is removing yourself from stressful situations and toxic people. If you've picked up on the patterns that cause you to complain, this shouldn't be difficult. If you can't leave a situation immediately, You should still schedule other times for a daily walk so that you can think and clear your head, especially like if you're at work and you have nagging management or coworkers you're working with, and like every day they get on your nerves like mines do. My management, every day they get on my nerves. But I've been, since we've gotten into 2019, I've really just been finding myself walking away a little bit and just, I don't know, using different methods of not letting them get so much under my skin. But if you haven't gotten there quite yet, that's okay. But you can allow yourself to get up, take a daily walk, do some breathing techniques so you can get back on track and focus. So many studies have shown that both the mental and physical benefits of daily exercise is very effective. It's good physically, yeah, it's good and mental, because we know both of those coincide with each other. And furthermore, because misery loves company, I'm sure most of us have heard that saying, misery loves company. Evaluate the people you spend your time with. Because at the end of the day, I believe there is choice. You can make a decision and a choice on who you want to have in your personal space. If you're hanging out with negative people who constantly whine or bring you down, you'll start mirroring those traits. And that is so true. When you're around people who don't want anything, they're always complaining, they're miserable, they're never happy in their lives, you'll find yourself acting the same way. So replace those relationships with ones that are more positive and supportive. I encourage each and every one of us. You notice I said us, to do that. Turn complaints into action. And as far as that, my personal circle is small anyway. I've eliminated so many people within the past few years that I feel good about that. I feel refreshed as far as my physical and mental. I'm so much better than what I was, say, about 5 years ago. I was not in the same space where I am at now. I found myself being one of those miserable people, looking in the mirror, looking very ugly on the inside and outside, had a negative mindset, was making myself physically sick, mentally sick, spiritually sick, financially sick, right? So I had to change myself. I had to start with me first, because I couldn't be a good person to anybody else until I started being a good person to myself. Turn complaints into actions. That's the next piece. Turn complaints into action. Believe it or not, there are ways to complain constructively. This is where you actually do something about what's bothering you. So, focusing on your feelings, not facts. This sets up a big difference in what you will receive from your listeners that can, in turn, have a big impact on how you end up feeling. Facts invite your listeners to think about them and agree or disagree, whereas feelings invite your listeners to understand. That's focusing on your feelings, not facts. The next is talking through what's frustrating you. So let's say you're running late for a meeting. This is one of those, for instance. Instead of sharing a rundown of the events that led to your tardiness, discuss how this impacted you. This will help the listener relate and empathize with you. And the more they can relate, the better able they will be to empathize with you and offer the support you're seeking. That was talking through what's frustrating you. The next one is sandwiching your complaint. This is where you place your negative complaint in between two positives. For example, if your daily commute stresses you out and mines can definitely stress me out in the morning and in the evening. You could ask to work from home occasionally by saying something like, I love my job and coworkers, but my commute is stressful and time consuming. Though this may not work for me, it could possibly work for someone else. And I'm not saying it to sound negative, even though it may have came out like that. But because of my job title, I have to be where I'm at. But again, it could work for someone else. So again, speaking to your management about how you love your job and you love what you do, you love your coworkers, but you feel as though your commute is stressful and time consuming. I feel I could be more productive if I could work from home, perhaps say twice a week. And I'm sure that this is effective because there are some coworkers of mine that they are capable of working home from work, and it eases the stress off of them commuting, because a lot of people that work for where I work at don't always live within the city. They live out the city, okay? Quite a distance out the city. So if that works for you, that's awesome. Next is leading, and that again was sandwiching your complaint. The next one is leading with how you feel. People don't like to hear complaints. They don't. They want to hear your feelings. By telling others how situations affect you, it helps them understand where you're coming from and how they may be able to help. So it's all about how we communicate. That's pretty much what it sounds like. How we communicate, how we feel to others. That was on leading with how you feel. And lastly, find the positives. The key to bringing your complaining to a screeching halt is by trying something positive to replace the negative. Again, if you want to bring your complaining to a stop or a halt, try something positive to replace the negative. There are several proven ways to become more positive, such as journaling. Write down the problem and how it makes you feel. Include possible solutions and the positives of the situation. Likewise, your support network can give you a form for starting the problem or for stating, Your support network can give you a form for stating the problem and how it makes you feel. A stronger support system will then offer solutions and help you find the humor in the situations. Practicing gratitude every day. I do my best to practice gratitude and appreciation and being thankful. Gratitude can also be very helpful. Rather than focusing only on the negative, practicing gratitude helps you appreciate what you do have and recognize that things aren't as bad as you thought. You can also engage in thought stopping. And before I go on, if it's really to a point where you just feel like you're not practicing gratitude and appreciation and just things are every day always bad, please, people, I just ask that you go and seek help then. And I'm not being funny when I say that. You may need some additional support like therapy or counseling to get you back on track and focus. It's nothing wrong with that. And it's nothing wrong with you for asking for that help. Sometimes some people just need that little bit of additional support and help or assistance to get them back focused. So I just want to put that out there. Again, you can also engage in thought stopping. Whenever you have a negative thought pop in your head, visualize a stop sign and then move on to a different thought. You can also shake your thoughts up by changing how you communicate them. One way to do so is by using the but, B-U-T, positive, the but positive technique. You may want to research into that for further information. Using the but positive technique. So for instance, you might say, my commute is brutal, but I'm grateful that I have a fulfilling job or a great job. Another way is to replace have to with get to. I get to meet with a new client. See how that works? You can use whatever example you want. Replacing the have to with get to. Complaining is a sign that something needs to change. Instead of rambling on, because we can do that, rambling on and on about what's bothering us or bothering you, devote your energy to what you can do to change the problem. Instead of letting complaining get the best of you or even get the best of me, start retraining yourself to stop complaining so you can become a more productive and successful person. That was really good. It was good for me. I'm not sure about you guys, but it was good for me because we do complain. We do the complaining and the woe is me like no one else understands. But we have to change our mindset, okay? Thank you guys once again, as always, for taking the time out to tune in and listen to me. I do my best to give good content. I also invite you to join my social media platforms. And of course, I am here on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and I have a YouTube channel. Find me on all of them under Aisha Speaks Jade. Again, that is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and my YouTube channel, which I invite you to all of them, especially when you go on to YouTube. Subscribe by hitting that thumbnail and also hitting that notification bell for any alerts and or updates. As always, self-care, love on yourself, inside as well as outside. Respect yourself. Hold yourself up in the highest regards. Create your happiness as well as create your greatness. Again, I will never stop talking about self-care and how we need to do it every day. It should not be an option. It should be a necessity that you do 365 or 366 days out of the year. Create that self-care toolbox for yourself. Do that. Put whatever you want to put in it. Create it however you want for your good, bad, and indifferent days. With that being said, I send much positive vibes and amazing energy to each and every one of you. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your evening or wherever you're at. Just enjoy yourself. Be good to yourself. And with that being said, peace and blessings to each and every one of you.